What if I told you that the best way to get top dollar for your home is to list it below market value? I know it sounds counterintuitive, but after selling hundreds of homes, I've discovered something fascinating. It's essentially impossible to underprice a home in a strong market. I'm Beatrix Whipple with the Whipple Group, and today I'm pulling back the curtain on a pricing strategy that most agents won't openly share with you. How strategic underpricing creates a psychological environment that actually drives your final price higher. And I'll show you the real data that proves it works. Let's start with the fundamental truth about human psychology. Buyers don't like to negotiate, they like to win. When you price your home at or above market value, you create a negotiation environment. Buyers feel they need to talk you down, find flaws, and justify a lower offer. But when you price slightly below market value, something magical happens. You create a competition environment. Suddenly, buyers aren't focused on negotiating, they're focused on winning the house. This shift in psychology is powerful. Instead of one buyer trying to pay less, you have multiple buyers trying to outbid each other. And that's when the market truly determines your home's value. I've seen homes priced at $799 sell for $875 simply because 5 buyers all wanted to win. That's not luck, it's strategy. But don't just take my word for it. Let me show you the actual data that proves that this works. For every listing I take, I pull all of the homes that sold in that zip code and split them into 2 groups. Homes that sold in 30 days or less and homes that took 31 days or more to sell. What we consistently see is that homes sold quickly, in 30 days or less, tend to sell over asking price. In this example from 90808, they sold for an average of 2% above list price. Meanwhile, homes that lingered on the market sold for an average of 0.8% below asking price. That's nearly a 3% delta in price. What would you do with 3% more profit? That's not insignificant. This pattern repeats across neighborhoods and price points. Time on market erodes your negotiating power. It signals a lack of demand, emboldens buyers to come in under asking, and puts sellers on the defensive. Think about your own experience as a buyer. When you see a home that's been sitting on the market for 45 days, what's your first thought? Something must be wrong with it, or I bet they'll take less. That's exactly what we want to avoid when selling your home. I like to use what I call the rubber band analogy when explaining this to my clients. The further you stretch the price low, the further the market can snap it back up. It's counterintuitive, but it works. Let me share a real example. We had a listing that we initially priced at $1.8 million. After several price reductions and months on market, we weren't getting any traction. So we completely reset the strategy. We relisted it at $1 million, significantly under market value, and held a one-day auction-style open house. The result? It sold for $1.5 million, higher than if we had just dropped it to that price directly. The psychology of competition completely changed the outcome. Now, this doesn't mean you should drastically underprice every home. The key is finding that sweet spot, just under comparable sales that creates interest without raising red flags. Here's how we approach it at the Whipple Group. First, we do a thorough analysis of recent comparable sales and current competition. Second, we identify the price point that will attract the most qualified buyers for your specific home. Third, we prepare your home to show at its absolute best, because underpricing only works when buyers fall in love once they're inside. And finally, we create a marketing strategy that maximizes exposure in that critical first week. Professional photography, targeted digital marketing, and then a grand open house that creates buzz. The goal is to create a sense of urgency and competition that drives the price up naturally, rather than starting high and negotiating down. So when you're thinking about selling your home, remember, the list price is just the starting point of a conversation with the market. Your goal isn't to get your asking price, it's to get the highest possible final price. At the Whipple Group, we've refined the strategy over hundreds of transactions, and the data consistently shows that creating competition works better than starting high and hoping for the best. I'm Beatrix Whipple, and I believe in using psychology and data to get you the best possible outcome when selling your home. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you ask for, it's about what you walk away with. If you found this pricing strategy interesting, check out my video on the true cost of homeownership right here. And if you're thinking about selling your home, let's talk about the right strategy for your specific situation. The Whipple Group is here to help. Just reach out using the link in the description below.